Hello, everyone. It's Samantha-Jayne here from Love Talk, the place where we get to learn everything that everyone loves about what they do and provide to the world. Today, I'm so excited to have Nebular Frequency on with us. She is a songstress. She is a lightweight language purveyor of beautifulness. She is just my beautiful sister, mother, everything. Everyone, I'd like you to introduce you to Nebula.
Hello, everyone. I am Nebula, and yes, it is my real name, my birth name. Yeah, I have been on this journey my whole life, but only consciously and aware that I was on a journey probably for the last maybe 5 or 6 years. And it's been one hell of a roller coaster, but here I am, and I'm really grateful to be here and share the space with you. My dear sister, it's just been such an epic journey. And I'm just really excited to share everything and what I do and bring people through the experience of it and maybe open their minds a little bit more to other concepts that may seem a bit far out, but there is now backing it up. So, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Sorry for my background noise for the moment, everyone. Now, Nebula, so you said that your journey started about 5 or 6 years ago. What was the start of that journey for you?
Oh, wow. So I think for me, when I was about 21, I was actually suffering a lot with suicidal depression. And I was ready to kind of jump ship and leave the planet, essentially. Until someone like really believed in me and said, just one more chance, just go see this person. Um, she's a good friend of mine. I know you'll love her. And she does something where she works with the field. And like, I'd never heard of anything really spiritual or whatever, like coming from personal training and being very like physically, kind of like just egoic world, like just entrenched in that. And then I went to this session with this woman and she showed me something called the emotion code by Dr. Bradley Nelson, which involves muscle testing like they do in kinesiology, and you will go through a chart of emotions. And when I saw it, I was like, sure, all right, I'll believe you, whatever. And then she did what was the sway test. So she got my body to sway backwards and forwards. And I really felt a pull and a push when I was of the energy, saying yes and no. And then I would release an emotion and I would like just on the spot cry. And that was the first time anything like that had really happened. So I just dived so deep from then on into the emotion code and then later on into the body code, which is an expansion of that, which is just a mind map of your entire physical body and the energetic field that you're in. And to just explore that world was just, I went really, really deep and watched a lot of stuff online. I took my first psychedelic when I was 22 back in South Africa, where I came from. I'm now living in Melbourne. And that was a really profound experience for me. Like it opened obviously so many doors of perception, but to feel like there was something more out there that I could actually live for, and that the healing that was coming through the work that I was doing was motivating me to be like, this is what I would love for others and for future generations, to be able to just connect to their own physical bodies and learn how to heal their own bodies from themselves, because that's essentially how I came to be. And and when I arrived in Australia about 4 years ago, I met a shaman named Tim Zyphon, and he had a shamanic sound healing journey workshop and was like, oh wow, this sounds amazing, because I was looking up trying to find anything shamanic like
Yeah.
I was like trying to connect to this type of world, and so I went to his workshop, not having any idea, never heard of light language before. And if anyone goes and looks him up on YouTube, you'll understand what I mean when I say that when this man started to channel, I was like, what the hell is this noise? And why is my heart cracking open? Like, that was the sensation. It was just like this breaking open of this center that I'd never felt, and just this bizarre, far out language. Because his is very cosmic. Because I would say he says he's a cosmic shaman, and you can really hear the dialect is not of this earth, and it sounds that you don't normally hear out of a human being. So I kept on going and working with him, and and about 2 years ago, it just started to happen for me. I would hear another language in my head, and I was like, I don't know any other languages really besides English. So I was like, what is this? And I thought at first I was going a little bit crazy. So I resisted it a lot. And as you know, what you resist persists, but also in like greater ways. And it started to really scare me, because I come from like a very religious background where, maybe people talk in tongues, but that's like the real deal people, and only the special people get to do that, And so there was a lot of shame and fear around that, like maybe even from past lives, like maybe I'll be burned if people know that I can say this stuff or do this stuff. And I just met more people who did it, and they were other shamans, and they continued to encourage me and say that they had the same fears in the beginning. And once I started sharing it with a few friends, their reactions and what they were experiencing was way more than I would have ever thought was possible. And that's really where I was like, okay, I get it. And I still resisted for a while, until like Spirit was just like, you've got to do this, you've got to share it. I was like, okay, here I am, I'm sharing it. It still scares the hell out of me sometimes, but I love it, and people have amazing experiences with it, and I connect so deeply with them through it as well. And it's just really transformed so much in my life. So that's that.
So just for the people out there that are listening in to the replay or online now, when we're saying a shaman, explain that for some people, because some people, I think we forget that people don't get our language sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so shaman would be in traditional indigenous cultures, the medicine man or medicine woman. They were normally known as seers or witch doctors in other cultures as well. And they normally would use herbs and natural plant medicines, as well as other healing through sound, drums, rattles, ceremony, and ritual. They would have that for the community, to help the community through whatever they may be struggling with, whether it's physical ailments or mental and emotional problems. And like back in those times, not many people had that much mental and emotional problems. Nowadays in the Western world, there's obviously a huge amount of that. So there's a lot more. You can see, like, the greater the population, the greater the disease that's on the planet, you can see there's more and more healers being activated. And I mean, most people will say everyone's a shaman, and like your heart is your inner shaman, essentially. So
it's about a remembering of who you are as well. Yeah, beautiful. So we've got something special lined up. Well, we've talked about it. We're not sure exactly what's going to come through. But Nebula is going to explain some of the light language for us. I'll get her to do that first, and then we might go into a little process. So explain a little bit about light language, and are there different, you were saying that there was a galactic dialect, but are there different dialects for here on Earth, and, different, explain a little bit more.
All right. I think before I kind of go into that, I would like to explain more about sound technology and how that actually works,
Beautiful.
especially with the human voice.
Yeah.
So, in various religions and traditions, they will always recognize that sound is the conversion from spirit into matter back into spirit, and
Yeah.
spirit back into matter. It's that exchange of energy. So, in Tantra, they'll explain that sound breaks up energy, and sound can also influence matter as well through that vibration and frequency, and can create harmonizing effects in the body. If you watch water and how when you emit sound onto it, it can have like very beautiful patterns, or if you have very
Yeah.
chaotic sound, there's a lot of chaotic patterns. So that's the same
Yeah.
with our bodies, because we are all water as well. Well, most of us are water.
Yeah. With
Yeah.
the like, yeah, like I heard someone say the other day, we're essentially a cucumber with anxiety.
Yeah. Yes. 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 So if you want your cucumber to be really healthy and happy, you can say, I love
And
you all the
juicy?
time. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Exactly. So the same thing goes for human beings. You tell someone you love them, but you say it with the intention, the feeling, right? Because
Yes.
you have to, the important part here is the understanding that the brain is like the electricity, and the heart is the magnet. So
Yes.
with what we feel will magnetize the vibration that the electricity will pick up. So the brain will pick up those frequencies. So it can't be just like I'm making up something, just saying random words. It's like the whole mind, body, spirit has to be in alignment to be able to transmit the frequencies through
Mm,
that. Yeah.
yes.
If that
Yes.
makes sense. Yes.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's true. There's that work of Dr. Muto. So that was very big, back when probably 15 years ago. And his work has carried on. But yeah, there's also another test that we do. It's if you say something nice to something, or if you say something horrible, it's still getting that attention. But if you ignore it, that thing will really die. So it's about giving it some form of attention, preferably the beautiful, loving attention. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, and yeah, and on that with light language, there are, yes, dialects, and when I say dialects, you can channel what most people in the spiritual field will know as other extra dimensional beings,
Yeah,
like the Pleiadians, the Arcturians. Something called the Council of Lights. And like this is a very far out thing if you've never really heard of anything, or if you've never really dived into
yeah,
other galactic family members.
yeah,
But there are beings that work with us directly, that we can translate their dialect through our filter. So that's the most important
yeah,
thing as well, is that each human being is their own sound filter. Like your entire being is put together through sound.
yeah,
So that you are your own sound as it is, which is where light language can even come through movement. So if you've ever watched someone dance and you feel moved by their dance, is because you're feeling their sound that they're emitting through their frequency. So
yeah,
that's going out. So you'll see maybe my hands, like if your eyes are open, if you want to do that, my hands might move. That's sometimes part of the light language as well. And you can also get like ancient earthly languages. So sometimes I will often I will often channel Pachamama, which is the earth. She's very strong in most of my channelings, and sometimes I'll get beings that it'll be like she'll call herself the grandmother of Africa, and it'll be just like these different aspects of the human consciousness that is very deep and ancient, that is still within our collective consciousness. It's still there, we're just not aware of it yet. And that can also come through. And then other times it'll be just purely a frequency. So like you can even just go like, ooh, and just that sound will just do something to the system.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's essentially the sound healing through the voice with light language.
Beautiful. And we said before we jump into that, I just want to head back and just show that, it's not just the ancient sort of languages and the shamans that use this. We did talk about that, there was the speaking of tongues, which is in, a lot of the religious things. And it was, I remember, growing up in church as well, that the people that were higher up but I think it's from practice. And it's the same with your light language. The more you practice it, the more that comes through for you. Would you
Yeah.
agree?
Yes. And you can
Yeah.
also see forms of it in like Hinduism and yoga. So mantras saying like Om
Yeah.
and Om Shanti. That Sanskrit is essentially light language in itself, because science has already looked at it and seen that they change the vibration within humans.
Yeah.
So that is all there as well. And yeah, it's really, really powerful. And it's really beautiful because everyone will get their own message through it. So
Yeah.
I can be sitting in a room with 20 people and I'll be saying something, but I'll be saying and I'll be in that channel of it, and I don't know exactly what I'm telling them, but I understand through the feeling. It's like you just get that intuitive feeling of what something is. There's no words, but then
Yeah.
people will come to me afterwards and say, wow, you were telling me this. And then someone will say, oh wow, but you were telling me this, and it's two completely different things. But I was like, wow, you got the message you needed,
Yeah. Yeah, beautiful. Well, I will hand it over to you and let you do your thing now.
Beautiful. All right. So for everyone that's listening, I invite you to close your eyes. If you feel more comfortable having them open and you'd like to watch, that's also perfectly fine. I'm going to close mine. And we just want to take deep breaths into our heart space. So we're breathing in and out of our heart space. And as you're breathing, you can actually feel the energy moving in and out of your heart space. And with each inhale, expand this energy bigger and bigger. So it expands throughout your entire auric field. And as you exhale, just relax your body more. So the aim here, or the intention, is to notice the feelings that come up, and sensations and thoughts and experiences or memories that might show up during this experience. So taking a deep breath into the heart space. Surta mearta karuba astandria pukoromostu yartana ista ikwam teresiti ikartama wapartinia ta ikurtan sirkir. Na ratamosurtana iatamakua pasakirata ina ikaratomosuartamiaru koromasar tere. Anye kera. Anyaruposua panya kasurta yana ahyakartura. Ya nyamasara. Kumani hanana hewe antiri kumani hinareno. Suene hana yasawa yasaki kirini hianeo. Hoyo yo hoyo yo hoyo yo hoyo hoyo yo hoyo yo ho. Hoyo yo hoyo yo hoyo yo hoyo hoyo yo hoyo yo ho. Kimiri tana yasawa yasawi kireti hinere no. Kemani sawa na weti kururu hunururu. Hoyo yo hoyo yo hoyo yo hoyo hoyo yo ho. Kita mor batasi kira aturo mosuper kanasar tera tomase kira. Anume kira tama ikia kusura ma upartiani isa tira masure. Take a deep breath in and relaxing out.
How beautiful was that? And what a beautiful gift for everyone that listens as well, because they are going to get their own little special message from that, which is beautiful. And I'm just taking a moment to come back for myself.
Would you like to
It's
share
really,
your
I find
experience?
it's like a remembering of another time, another place. Yeah. And was that from anyone in particular, or did that come from?
So I'll explain. So this started first because we were going through the heart space, and
Yep.
because we are all one soul in many bodies, it was
Yes.
opening up the gates to the soul. So it moved from the
Mm,
heart and a little bit into the throat, because the throat is
yeah.
the speaking or the opening gateways to the heart. So we
Yes.
allow that space to open and connect, to remember that we are one and connected in that way. And then the singing part, that was what I would call normally as an ikaro, or a song of the heart. So
Yep.
singing to remind the heart that it is love, to remind the heart that is of its power and its strength. So to awaken that soul within you. And then at the end, it was closed by actually channeling Mary Magdalene. So yeah, that was how it finished. She came through on that last bit.
Beautiful. How beautiful for everyone. It was beautiful to experience as well. So I will be letting everyone know in the comments as well to, yeah, really take that little bit of time for themselves to really delve in and to have that beautiful heart awakening and remembering. Yeah. Is there anything else? See, I do know Nebula, and I'm looking at, we call it her pumpkin.
Yeah.
Explain what your and it's called her pumpkin because my 3-year-old calls it a pumpkin.
Yeah.
Nebula, why you got a pumpkin? Explain what your pumpkin is,
All
Nebula.
right. So my favorite. I tell everyone now it's a pumpkin.
She's very proud of
Yeah.
that.
So what it is actually the Vesica Pisces. So in sacred geometry, the Vesica Pisces is known as the portal of creation, and the balance of the masculine and feminine coming together to create the union. And in shamanism, they will use the portal of the heart. And in one of the practices that I learned really early on, was to create a Vesica Pisces on the heart and to go through the center of it to enter into the spirit world. And that was the practice of going in and out and meeting your inner self or your inner shaman and speaking to them and getting advice and getting understanding and clarity on things. So it became a really powerful symbol for me. And I'm huge on symbolism, as you can see on my hands as well. So yeah, the symbols for me are really powerful, and I like to play on the idea of like what you believe is what will come up in your reality. So I'm like, well, I believe that our symbols and symbolism is very powerful in our world. So why not place a symbolism on me that represents the things that I work with? So that
Yeah.
was, yeah.
Beautiful.
And would you like to share your experience through the channeling?
I it was like I just went home. That's probably the easiest way for me to explain it. Yeah, there was like no space, no time, and I was just being. So that was really beautiful because I've got lots going on at the moment, and it was really nice to just know that I was held in this space, even though I'm hosting this program, to be held, and I am perfectly in the right space at the right time. So yeah, that would be, and it would be interesting to see the comments from anybody else that listens to it, what they felt, and yeah, so that would be really beautiful. And also, Neb, we'll put all your details of if anyone would like to get their own personal channeling with you.
Yes.
Yeah. And is there anything else that you would like to share with us before we close out our beautiful love talk?
um, ooh, I do also offer art as well. So if you had to look at my Instagram or Facebook page, you'll see these, what I call them, light codes or frequency paintings. So it's essentially the same idea as the light language, but it can be very personalized. So your specific journey that you're in this incarnation, it can help open up awareness and connection to that journey, or you can have it for specific intentions, and that's a really powerful thing. And some people can put it in their house, like on their wall, and it will emit that frequency throughout the house. So I love one of the ones that is just pure divine love, and that you can, when you stare at it, you can feel the effects and you can feel the body shifting, and yeah, it's really beautiful. And that's kind of something else that I can offer as well as the one-on-one with anyone.
Beautiful. So essentially, Miss Nebula is the go-to lady to raise your frequency, your vibration through sound and light. And yeah, she is one of my all-time favorites. We've done these journeys before, not just in this life as well. So it's really beautiful to find each other again on this realm. And I thank you for coming on Love Talk. Thank you for sharing your beautiful, beautiful everything. So everyone, Nebula, we will pop all of her details down below. We would love for you to share with us just exactly what you got from the beautiful light language down there, and get in touch with this beautiful woman if anyone wants to. Thank you, my darling.
Thank you.
Much love.
So much love. Thank you so much.
And this is a wrap for Love Talk, the place where we get to know exactly what you love.